Welcome to Hope, Heart, and Hustle. I'm your host, Morgan Overton, and I am so glad you're here. This podcast is built around a simple idea that behind every meaningful artwork, community initiative, career, or business, there are deeply rich human stories behind it all. We will be sitting with creatives, dreamers, and change makers to explore the moments that shaped them, the successes that everyone sees, but also the setbacks, the resilience, the risks and lessons that happen behind the scenes. Whether you're building something yourself, looking for inspiration, or just simply curious about the people helping shape our communities and culture, we hope that you will leave every conversation feeling inspired, connected, and encouraged, and a reminder that our journey is not linear. So a little bit about me. I'm Morgan Overton. I'm a multidisciplinary visual artist, community advocate, and fifth-generation Pittsburgher. My background has spanned psychology research, social work, political leadership, and of course, the arts. Throughout my career, even through my artwork, the through line has been the human condition. We're all walking around with rich stories of what drives us, sustains us, and what gives us hope. And I couldn't think of a better person to begin this journey with than today's guest. We are joined by Emmai Alaquiva. Emmai Alaquiva, once homeless, is now a 6-time, come on now, Emmy, 3-time Webby, Essence, NAACP Image Award-winning film director who crystallizes his cinematic poetry, creating for Roc Nation, Rihanna's Fenty brand, Daniel Tiger Neighborhood, and more. Most recently, this Smithsonian published photographer directed The Ebony Canal, a history-making film narrated by EGOT winner Viola Davis. This masterful cinematic poem won 3 Cannes Awards for Best Doc, Best Cinematic Editing, and First Time Director. It examines the historic portal between the disparities of the current state of infant and maternal health, which is an issue near and dear to me. His community efforts have been recognized by the President Barack Obama, and his work has been seen nationally on Good Morning America, Forbes, and the New York Times. Emmai, thank you for joining us.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm proud of you.
For jumping off the cliff and allowing passion to be your parachute.
I walk in your
dope.
path.
You know what I mean?
You.
Yes.
Thank you.
So,
it's good to be seen.
So, how did you come to select me for the first? I'm blown away.
Well, you represent the best of us. You are grounded here in Pittsburgh. You are telling a Pittsburgh story, but so many can resonate and feel seen by your platform. And these stories deserve to be told because there's a lot of us in Pittsburgh who feel like, shoot, am I the only one?
Yeah.
Do I need to leave?
Yeah.
And so you help people feel as though I'm not alone.
Yeah.
And you uplift those stories too. And so I just want to go to the beginning.
Let's do it. Yeah,
Before we're
sure.
even sitting here today.
Yes.
How did we get here? What were your influences? What was it like growing up? And when did you pick up that camera and you're like, I think this is it?
Wow. So that's like a million questions, but I'm going to knock them out.
Let's do it.
So, growing up, of course, in Wilkinsburg area, it wasn't always good.
Yeah.
Lot of detrimental behavior. But Wilkinsburg has come a long way. Shout out to the mayor there. But growing up in Wilkinsburg, there weren't a lot of artistic outlets. Of course, there was Boys and Girls Club and things of that nature as well. Summer school lunches, growing up. But there weren't a lot of very art-based things. So there was a lot of drug dealing and things going on, at that time, beginning beginning of the 90s. So a lot of what we saw in that area was negative, right? So my heroes were drug dealers. You know, my heroes were the individuals who would drive around, you know, with the trucks with the rims on it and stepping out with gold chains and things of that nature. So I thought that was what, you know, I was supposed to be. So, you know, at the age of 13, I tried to sell drugs, and it didn't really work out because I got a gun stuck to my head at the age of 13. And, you know, there's a lot of feelings that sort of go with that. But that was the first day I sold drugs. It was also the last day I sold drugs. And I remember it happened in Homewood in the Kentucky Fried Chicken parking lot. And at that moment, I was like, yo, I don't think that this is what I'm supposed to be. I don't think that this is, you know, my purpose. So I started listening to hip hop crazily, and I started surrounding myself around hip hop. So I started to hang out at 98.5 WPTS, which was the name of the radio station at the University of Pittsburgh. And, you know, I would hang out with older folks, and like, you know, MC Word, you know, Black Steel, who went by Chili Most at the time. And I began to be influenced by these individuals, and I would say, oh, hip hop is pretty cool. So I really started to get into hip hop by a group by the name of De La Soul. They had a song called Me, Myself, and I from an album called 3 Feet High and Rising. And I started to really dig into hip hop, and it began to speak to me in ways that nothing else did. So that was some of my first, you know, introductions into the art space. No one in my family was really artsy fartsy. I remember my grandmother purchasing a Yamaha keyboard, so that was my first introduction into music. And then I met a gentleman by the name of Stephen Butter Anderson, who goes by Butter, but he was from Belsuver. He's one of the illest producers in the history of producers in the world. Right now, he's working on the Different World soundtrack, which is going to be lifted off at Netflix. So, you know, seeing him create really allowed me to turn my life around, to know the potential that if I allow arts to come into my life, and if we cultivated that relationship, you know, with the arts, would allow me to do certain things. So life got in the way of living. My sister was diagnosed with HIV/AIDS in the early 90s when it was really, really bad. So, you know, she ended up leaving us in 97, where I had to take on responsibilities of being a father to my 2 nieces. But that rendered a lot of mental health issues that rendered me, you know, into a deep depression.
Of course,
So that depression rendered me homeless in the streets of Pittsburgh, probably for about a year and a half. You know, sleeping on couches, sleeping outside, you know, begging for change in Oakland, until one person who changed my life completely. He goes by Selecta. You know, DJ Selecta. We love Selecta. I told Selecta that, you know, hey, listen, I'm having a tough time being homeless, but Selecta, and I got to give him his props, he opened his doors to me when I was homeless. He allowed me to sleep at his place. I mean, it was almost to a point where, you know, I was still going through a depression, but I was getting out of it. That he left his apartment and left it to me.
Wow.
So, not to get choked up, but he really allowed that moment to say, hey, listen, you can get back on your feet. You can win, which is why I'm so dedicated to him. And he's such a great friend. So once I got on my feet, I started working at the Shadow Lounge with Justin Strong. He gave me the opportunity to be the doorman. So I was the doorman at the Shadow Lounge, the original gangster. I would, you know, clean up the bathrooms, do little odd jobs that he wanted me to do. But he gave me an opportunity because from Selecta, Justin Strong, I then got a job at WURP, which was a radio station.
Mm-hmm.
I know this is long-winded, but you
No,
asked.
it's
Welcome to the
part of
podcast.
the story, yes.
I got a job as a producer at the Tom Jordan Morning Show at a place called WURP, which was at the location that Whammo is now.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
So I worked there. Then I opened a studio called Your Mom's House. It was only a room after taking mail upstairs because it was delivered at the wrong location at the Shadow Lounge. So Justin had me take the mail upstairs.
Yeah.
And when I looked into the mail slot, I saw potential. I saw my life changing literally when I saw this room that was junky, had 40 bottles. It was crazy. Mm-hmm. So what I ended up doing is I ended up dreaming, and I said, you know what, I'm going to open a studio in this place. Mm-hmm. So I rented equipment with the help of Roland Chip Matthews. He goes by DJ Super C. He's another anchor where I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for him. Because I rented a bunch of equipment from pianos and stuff in Blawnox. And he co-signed for me to get the space upstairs.
Wow.
So Chip is one of the original gangsters of Your Mom's House recording studio. So I got to give him props.
Yeah.
So moving forward, I was able to, every dollar I made, I put 90 cents back into the business. I grew from 300 to 600, 600 to 1200, 1200 to 800, and I just began to grow. I started Hip Hop on Lock, which is an arts education program that's still working today. Then I, kept doing Your Mom's House. Got a call from Whammo to oversee the 3 radio stations as production director. I was still sleeping in the studio, and I didn't get my first apartment until 6 months after working at Whammo.
Wow. Yeah.
So doing this work allowed me to say, hey, listen, I want to do more for my community. So that's when I started Hip Hop on Lock in 2007. And then I wanted to do videos for the kids. So I used to hire all these students from CMU Art Institute to do videos, but what was missing, something was missing out of that. It was very transactional when I would hire, these videographers.
Yeah.
So what happened, one day I went to New York. I went to the Best Buy on 23rd Street, and I purchased a Canon 7D, the number 7, the letter D.
Yeah.
Then when I came back, I didn't read the manual. I didn't, I just literally opened the camera out the box, put on a lens, and I started shooting. And the stories that I began to tell through my photography and through the images through that camera changed my life totally, and I never looked back since.
One thing my dad has always said to me is that a person can be a door. And it sounds like you had a lot of doors along the way, but it also sounds like you had this ancestral guidance guiding you toward those doors, toward those people, but you still act as a door in your work now. Your work feels so deeply rooted in purpose. How do you remain rooted in that and connected to it when business gets difficult, when you have a lot of voices around you? How do you stay at one with you, but also who's behind the camera? Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. When you find your passion, a lot of things become easy. There's a lot of people, out there watching this or listening to this that has a job that they can't stand. It's literally gut-wrenching to get out of bed and go to this job. There's some people that are working with individuals that they can't stand. But they do it for years and years and years, and that begins to weather on you. There's this thing called weathering. There's a reason why a lot of teachers last, a super duper long time. I might be able to see my kindergarten teacher, what I mean? Who is still alive, because there's this weathering thing that takes place. Well, your weathering decreases when you do what you're passionate about and you do what you love. That's the key thing that essentially keeps you alive. So me being able to stay focused is one, the people that you have surrounding you. You know, every artist that's listening to this, you have to build your team that's around you. Mm-hmm. The better you build your team, the more you can focus on being an artist.
Right.
And that's really when things work very well. Mm-hmm. And it took me a while to get there because I wasn't shown the blueprint. So when I wasn't shown the blueprint on the importance of building a team first, before you could scale, because I used to be the artist that I thought that I would be cool doing everything myself. I used to say, oh, you know, if it's going to get done right, I got to do everything myself. Now, that happens in a lot of instances. However, if you find that team, you won't have to worry about doing everything yourself. You can focus on the mathematic percentages that needs to go into you being an artist 100% of the time. If you have to do your admin, you have to be your own assistant. You know, the mathematic percentages go way down. So I was able to find, you know, individuals like, you know, Sydney Martin, who's our production manager, you know, Remington Sinclair, Marcus Stuckey, Jack Orman. The list goes on and on. Reese Randall and my whole entire team. These are individuals that are in place that understand the dream and understand the mission. But they are also understanding that, listen, if we run around as a team, we can score together and we could win together.
Right.
Everyone doesn't have to be the quarterback, if you will.
Right.
And then from a war standpoint, I always tell my team, we're not soldiers. I'm not the sergeant. We are all sergeants. So when you have that way of thinking, a lot of things are pretty easier and pretty easy, and that's how I could stay focused as an artist.
Right. I appreciated earlier how you talked about the psychological evolution that you've had through your journey. And I know as a creative myself and a lot of artists that I talk to, we're creating, but we're also in survival mode. The world is on fire. We're trying to take care of our families, take care of ourselves. So how do you protect yourself to stay inspired? What gives you that ongoing juice to keep thinking and keep evolving too? I think that's the one thing we need to get comfortable with.
Yeah. So the best thing we can do, the best investment we can make is in people. You know, I'm going to let that sit. The best investment we can make, especially as artists, is in people. And the reason why I say that is because what gives me that drive is knowing the difference that I can make as an artist while I am here. While we are here on earth, we're borrowing everything. Right? I mean, think about that. We're borrowing everything. And the only real currency that we have to leave here is what we put back in to people and what we put back into this earth. Because when we're long gone, our pieces, our art, our movies, our films are going to survive, you know, way beyond what we can. The barometer of that is, where would you have been during the pandemic if it wasn't for the arts? Come on now. Let the people know. I mean, let's think about this. I would have never watched Tiger King ever. Listen, that wouldn't be on my that wouldn't be on my Netflix watch list.
Listen, appointment television.
But listen, but it was.
I sopped it up with a biscuit.
These are so if it wasn't for, you know, films. Music. Discovering music, poetry, visual arts. Come on. Where would we be? So that is clear example on the impact the arts really has on everything that we do. You know, there's an artistic way that you make your bed when you wake up. That's true. It has to be a certain way, and that brings you joy. So to circle back, what brings me joy is being able to make art that changes people's lives and that invests in others. And my three main projects that I'm known for on a global scale is, of course, during, after the demise of George Floyd, we were all out in the streets doing our thing. At that time, me and my daughter, we were doing ASL together. And then when bring my photos and my
Yes.
videos from all these protests. My daughter was like, no one's doing sign language. What it is, Pops.
Yeah.
So being able to put together a 60-second PSA for the deaf and hard of hearing called Unspeakable, and then have it go, be seen by 300 million people, 60 countries, and to have my 8-year-old daughter,
That's beautiful.
on Good Morning America was crazy.
Yep.
Then Optic Voices, which was the first interactive augmented reality social justice exhibit in the country, in which I took photos of mothers who lost their sons to gun violence. And when you would take your smartphone or your smart tablet, when you scan over the mother's face, it turned into the son's baby picture. So that's art in investing in people. And then, of course, with the Ebony Canal.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
No, the Ebony Canal is crazy.
Yes.
Like, that has changed my life totally upside down. Shout out to the Richard King Mellon Foundation. Shout out to Sam Ryman. Shout out to Janice Burley Wilson, who's one of our executive producers. Shout out to Tim Reeves, where they literally called me up and said, Emmai, we have a project that everyone on our board thinks that you would be perfect for. When they told me, I knew nothing about the risks and the story surrounding maternal and infant health.
Yeah.
I never knew that black women were dying 3 times that of their white counterparts.
That's right.
I didn't know that black babies were dying 2.5 times that their white counterparts before the age of 1. I didn't know that 84% of this was preventable. I knew nothing about that. So something that started transactional turned into something transformative.
Yep.
Because again, where I had the opportunity to invest in people and to change generations after me, I'm about that life.
That's right.
So when they said, are you with it? I said, I'm with it.
Yeah.
I was terrified at first.
That's when you know.
But as artists, it's important for us to be terrified every once in a while of a project. So putting together this film and starting this film, identifying 4 amazing women, Mariah Peoples, Larissa Lane Keys, Alana Isola Daly, and Rachel L. Strader.
Yeah.
Identifying these 4 women and starting the process from conception, the entire 9 months, to the child's very first birthday. So it took 2 years to really make, and then we went on the road for a 1.5 years for, the film festival run. We started at Sundance. We landed at the Pan-African Film Festival in LA. We did, all types of festivals all around the country. We did a premiere in South Africa. We did premieres in London. We did premieres in France at the Cannes Film Festival. This story that was narrated by Viola Davis, it also features Beyonce's mother, Miss Tina Knowles.
Miss Tina, yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
So being a kid from Wilkinsburg, I never knew that this was possible. But what I did is I said, regrets don't fit in caskets. And I want everybody to understand that. Regrets don't fit in caskets.
Where's my tambourine?
So you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
So not be fearful of that. Here I am from Wilkinsburg thinking I would never be able to work with someone like Viola Davis, who's an EGOT winner and one of the greatest actors in the world.
Right.
I never knew that someone like Beyonce's mother, Jay-Z's, mother-in-law, would be like, hey, listen, I want to be a part of your project. So putting together the Ebony Canal, which is about black maternal and infant health, and the journey that covers the hurt, the healing, but also the hopefulness of birth, and to have this win 2 Anthem Awards, 5 Telly Awards, 3 Webby Awards, 2 Emmy Awards, NCAA Image Award, the first maternal health documentary to win in 57 years, Morgan. And this next month we are submitting for Best Short Documentary for the Oscars.
Oh no, that's right.
Listen, if you want to be about that life, be about that life. Dive in.
You know what? These stories are very grounded in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
And these disparities are rampant in Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh, yes.
You're building this nationally recognized work here in Pittsburgh. And you could be in LA, New York, you can be in London, but you are here in the Berg. Why is that important to you? And on the other flip side, what opportunities do you see for Pittsburgh that others may overlook? You know, you have your role at the state level. Where are the areas for opportunity?
Well, so let's break your first question down. You know, me being an artist is something that is life-changing, especially when you do it right. And especially when you have the right team sort of around you, and that you're authentically dedicated to that art. Now, it's going to be tough, especially with a place like Pittsburgh. I'm going to keep it
Tell the people.
1,000.
Let them know. Yep.
It's tough in Pittsburgh.
Yes, it is.
It's tough to find your lane. It's tough to stay in the lane. It's tough to have the lane without people trying to merge and run you off the road.
That's right.
We get that. There's a lot of clicks.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? You have to be unapologetically yourself when it comes to this art. I can't tell you how many times people have spoke ill will about me. People have spoken, you know, just bad. But what I learned to do is to accept the fact that everybody ain't going to like you.
Yeah.
And it's not just Pittsburgh. That's any and everywhere you go.
Yeah.
But you have to find a way to filter other people's emotions and to not have them dictate or cultivate the way you think and the way you move. So being in a place like Pittsburgh, I move unapologetically, but I always try to be inclusive.
Yeah.
I don't care if you don't like me. That's fine. How you doing? How can we work together?
Right.
I still see you. I still see what you do.
Yeah.
I still see how you add value to our city. So when you have that sort of mind state, things become a little bit clearer and things become easier for you when you have the ability to filter out the noise. And you be able, you filter out the noise, and when you filter out the noise, you begin to be inclusive of the value you have as an artist. Because a lot of people, especially a lot of artists, we push our value to the side for opportunity. Here's the thing, I'll say that again. A lot of times as artists, we push our value to the side to bring in opportunity.
Yeah.
And sometimes what's wrong with that is your value, you might have spent, 10,000 hours on a piece, but you're so enthusiastic about some opportunity that might be a very small opportunity, and then you sort of push your value aside. But when you sort of switch that around, where you really know your value and you really know how much you should be paid, you really know, the rights that you should have when it comes to overseeing the value. How do we lease work out? How do we work with museums and things of that nature as well? You could hold my piece for 3 years, but, I retain all the rights. All of those things. Once we understand kind of what we need to do administratively, but also unapologetically, we begin to understand how we can change the landscape of communities through the arts. You understand what I'm saying?
It's the beacon of light.
No, I mean, and that's what I've done with the Ebony Canal. The Ebony Canal, we own everything. Yeah. You know what I mean? So we retain the ownership of our art.
That's right.
Which is why, we turned down several companies. I won't name any names, but we turned around several distribution deals because they wanted to take the Ebony Canal, take it off of our hands. They wanted to take all the ownership. We couldn't make any funding or any donations.
Extractive.
Literally, they would take everything from you, and you don't own anything anymore. So I just want people to understand that when you take that type of stance, a lot of people will begin to navigate around you in a very different way. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
So understand your value for sure.
Yes, understand. If you don't take anything from this, y'all, understand your value.
Yeah.
Now, I know you are high in demand, so we got some closing rapid fire questions for you.
Let's rapid fire.
So where are you finding hope right now?
I am finding hope first in my 14-year-old daughter, my wife, and we have a dog, Chewy.
Okay, come on, Chewy?
Chewy is a golden doodle mini.
Oh.
And, you know, he's hilarious.
Yeah.
He's quite bougie. Mm-hmm. He drinks ice water.
Uh-huh.
You know, he eats farmer's dog.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So,
That's
yeah,
pinky out.
so that's out. But I also find joy in listening to old jazz records.
Same.
So,
Yes.
you know, Wes Montgomery,
Come on.
your Cannonball Adderley, your John, your Miles, your Mary Lou Williams.
Yes.
Sometimes just putting on an old vinyl record,
It hits every time.
it hits every time, and especially going to places like Jerry's Records to purchase the vinyl.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. Okay. I like it. What is something that you're putting your whole heart into?
I am putting my whole entire heart into me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning how to sleep better, eat better, take care of yourself, understanding what self-care really is.
Yeah.
Especially for a lot of black men, we try to be
Yes.
Superman in all aspects.
Say it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's very healthy to put your Superman cape up in the closet sometimes.
Speaking my language.
You don't
Yep.
got to fly all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't got to, drop down and save everybody.
Yes.
We got to save ourselves first,
Yes.
and that'll reciprocate in everything else that we do.
Ooh, I got my tambourine.
You know what I'm saying?
And what are you hustling toward next? I think in our culture we think of hustling as that ongoing,
Sure.
keeping that cape on autopilot, but sometimes
Sure.
hustling is toward your mental health, toward
Yeah.
your safety, toward your peace. So what are you hustling?
Well, the thing is,
Sure.
I like that your podcast is called Hustle, but I don't like to hustle
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes when you hustle, you wither away.
Yep.
When you grind,
Mm-hmm.
you wither away.
Yep.
So a while back, I learned that sometimes we let life get in the way of living.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've learned is I learned to live first.
Mm-hmm.
So everything I do, I just want to live through it.
Yeah.
So what that is doing the things that I love. And my next projects that I'm living through, there's documentary with George Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
I just finished working on a Puma campaign where
Okay.
Puma is doing a partnership with the Divine Nine.
Yeah.
So shout out to the Divine Nine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there's a ton of scripts that's on my desk right now that I'll be checking out.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to continue to tell stories.
Yeah.
I want to continue to be a cinematic poet. I don't like to call myself a filmmaker, but I like to, tell my poetry through, a piece of glass that's a ½ inch thick and keep rocking.
All right now. Well, Emmai, thank you so much for spending your time with us
No,
and for
that's
sharing
what's
your
up.
testimony.
No,
I
thank
think there's
you.
going to be so much taken from this. So
No,
thank you.
let's do it. Thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone who's listening. If you found anything inspiring from this conversation, please share it with the masses. And keep having hope, keep hustling, and keep your heart. Everyone from Atithi Studios here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, I'm Morgan Overton.